done, it'll be just open lab, and Thursday will be open lab in the morning. Friday, not Friday. In the afternoons, we'll do the reports. So if they all finish today, then Thursday will be open. If we don't finish today, then we'll finish them on Thursday. I suspect some people want to wait till Thursday. So. What? Okay. That'll be fine. So there's a couple. Yeah. All right. So I've got this video going. Let's bring up the virtual. Are we ready? I'm not sure I am, but we can try.
I don't know. It's just up to you. This is your part. Yeah. I couldn't get the other picture off, so I'll just use that one. Yeah, that's your part.
Okay, are we ready to go? Maybe.
Ready to
All right, so it's video is recording. I want Visual Studio. Do you guys need to repeat what we did last week? I mean, not redo it, but talk over it. Okay, well, we could. It'll be quick, yes. All right, so I will open the Management Studio. So we've done two things, right?
Yes.
We created the data warehouse, and we created the SSIS, right? The import, export for it. And the script for this is on the blog. And I did figure out how to get the net words in there, so we'll do that today. It was easy. It just, oh shoot. So once again, I am not, so I'm going to go to computer services and applications, SQL Server, SQL Server Services, MSQL Server, and start. I've never had so much trouble with things being stopped. Okay. And connect. And under the databases, we made the MetroAltDW, and I'm just going to look at the database diagram. No, I don't have a database diagram. New database diagram. And I think I will zoom this down. Right, so that means you have to go and start it. Yeah.
Right, so you do this couple of times, but I haven't actually done it. Great.
Well, this is just review anyway. So we created the fact schedule, created the DIMs, the DIM employee, the DIM route, the DIM bus, the DIM date, the DIM schedule. There are other things we could do, but we're just looking at the schedule in this one. Right, so you could create other fact tables and other dimension tables, but we just want to do kind of the minimum thing. Are there any questions on that? As I said, the script is in. This is what they call the star layout. Right, so you have the fact schedule in the middle, and then you have, it's only accidental that there are, how many are there? 6, 5. That there are 5 prongs, there could be however many. So I'm just going to minimize that. So after we did that, I'm going to get the Visual Studio. I'm going to run it as administrator. So more run as administrator. I'm not going to rerun the. I'm going to open which is the SSIS? Was it Community Assist Data Warehouse? Let me look at that. Yeah, so this is the SSS. And basically, I'm just going to go through this. Most of you did this too. This is because, again, the data warehouse isn't live. So we dropped the foreign keys. Remember, we spent a lot of time on that. We empty the tables by truncating them. We repopulate the tables, and we re-add the constraints. So we did that as a thing. And they're all SQL tasks. And that'll make it so that whenever you need to update your data, you just bring this in. Okay, so that's pretty much what we did. Do you guys have any questions on that? That's takes 3 seconds to explain, but it was a lot of work. All right, so I'm going to do a new project. And this time what we want, again, is a business intelligence. We want an analysis services project. We're going to do multidimensional and data mining. And I will call it MetroAlt multidimensional project, for lack of a better name. And again, you could call it whatever. Any questions on that? So analysis services, the very top one. Make sure you click on business intelligence and then analysis services. Going to do OK. It'll replace what we have with a new thing. And basically, we're going to go as far as the cubes and the dimensions here. These you could explore on your own if you want. The trouble with the mining structures forward is that they involve fairly complex statistics, which you're welcome to play with. I just I'm not sure we can do it in a class, particularly since my sense of what they're doing is fairly vague. There is, again, that tutorial I linked. I linked it partially for my own sake so I could remember what it was in the announcements. It does take AdventureWorks through the mining structures, roles, and assemblies and things. So it just, it just has you step-by-step guide you through one of them, which might be worth doing. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is right-click, and we're going to get a new data source. There's a pattern to these. If you get the pattern down, it probably makes the whole thing. Every time you do these, you've got to get a data source, right? You got to figure out where the data is coming from. That's true of the SSIS. It's true of the reports. It's true of all of them. So I'm going to do next. Now, we do have, I have localhost MetroAltDW. Does everybody have that? You don't need to do a new one. If you don't have it, you will need to do new. Anybody not have it?
I didn't have it.
So if you don't, you can do new. Did you do yours on, I think it's coming from the SSIS thing. If you do new, I mean, this is the thing you've always seen. I'm not going to finish it. I'm just going to start it. Localhost. And MetroAltDW. That's all you have to do. I'm going to cancel it because it already exists. I'm going to choose it. And I'm going to do next. Now, we need to use the service account. Did we add the service account to our? I don't think we did. So I'm going to go back here. Partially what I want to do in here and look in security users. So we don't have this user that we need. We did this for Community Assist, but we didn't do it for this one. So if you don't have the Management Studio here open. So do the service.
It's this one.
Yeah, and then do the, yes, and then start. Oops. Okay, well, start at work.
We're going to do a new login and then do.
Well, so we actually should have the login. So if I go down to security at the server level and do logins, the service that we want is NT Authority Local Service. Right? Remember we did this with Community Assist? So go down to security logins. How many don't have NT Authority Local Service anywhere in their logins? Not users, but logins, server level. Anybody not have it?
Which one?
NT Local Service, you got it. Right under here. So what we want to do is, question?
The security and the database.
Not in the database, on the server level, security logins.
Yes.
So there's NT Authority Local Service. We did this with Community Assist. What we need to do, just going to right click on it and do properties. I am going to do user mapping. Notice how it is mapped to Community Assist. I am going to map it to MetroAltDW. And I'm going to give it data reader, data writer. So user mapping on the NT Authority Local Service. MetroAltDW, make it data reader, data writer. Again, I don't know that it needs writer, but it definitely needs reader.
And the default schema will automatically be DDL.
Yeah. And that's fine for this.
Community assist.
You can leave Community Assist. So I'm going to do, that's all I have to do, and then just do OK. What that does, I mean, if you go back up to MetroAlt now and look under its security, you don't have to do anything here. You'll notice that it has local service as a user.
It means that if we have it, we don't have to that one.
Well, you do have to do the part. Let me right click in properties. You do have to do the user mapping thing.
Oh.
You have to do MetroAltDW and then change it to, and then check the data reader, data writer. If you don't, it'll fail when we do this. And remember, I don't know if I want to go there right now. Remember how I changed the user for the, you guys want me to go back there? So I'll do OK here. This you don't have to do, just to show you why we're doing this. So if I go to computer management again, services and application, services, and if I, whoops, not services, I want this SQL Server services. SQL Server services. And if I go to the analytics server, actually, let's do this one and look at the properties. We did actually, that's not it. So I must have changed it on the other one. It must be the other one. So we did it as a built-in account local service. So we changed the service there. So, and then we need to make that service a user in any database that we're doing.
So you cannot discount it.
You don't have to change anything on this. Yes, so this other one is the instance that we just installed like last week for the replication. That one has the original user. Oops, that's local server. That's what I want. The other one up here. It has NT service, MSL, OLAP, ITC 222, S. You know, it has this whole lot of things. And I have I'm sure that that user exists somewhere, but I've never found it in order to make it a user in the database. Probably should read on how to get it there, but just changing it to a built-in account and local service works really well. Again, I don't have to do it there because that's the other SQL server. Again, you don't have to do that now. That was just refreshing what we had done before. So all we have to do here, now that the service account is there, is say use this service account. Otherwise, we'd have to know the specific user name and password that was assigned to the OLAP, you know, and I don't know what that is. Probably should know what that is, but I don't. So I'm going to do next.
Just service account.
Yeah, just service account. And it gives you what the connection string looks like. And that's fine. I wouldn't mess with it. I'm not sure you can mess with it. I'm going to finish, and we have a data source. Anybody not have a data source? You're still trying to get in. I can help you with that if you need. Anyone else? Everybody okay? So are we ready for a data source view? So I'm going to just right click there and do a new data source view. And this is basically, we're going to choose everything. So we're using the MetroAltDW data source. We don't need a new data source. You could do the data source right here. If you did the data source right here, it would put a little icon, you know. You have an opportunity if you want to do it there, but to me it makes more sense to do it separately. I'm going to do next. And we want all of these in here, right? So these are all of the included objects. You don't always want to do that. Like in the AdventureWorks where you have all the multiple facts and things, you don't want to do all of them at one time. You'd want to choose like one fact table and the things. And we don't need sys diagrams, actually. Let me click on that one and pull it out, because that could confuse things. Anybody know what the sys diagrams table is? Just curious. Isn't it a picture? It's what stores the information that allows it to create the picture. So, for the diagram, right? So I'm going to do, and you have a chance of going to get other tables from other database sources here if you want, but we won't. Because, sometimes when you're doing a cube, you actually want to bring in data from multiple sources, and you could do that without related tables. I'm going to do next.
When they say add related tables, that means that they need a key relationship.
They need to have some kind of relationship. Now, like when we did the dim tables, it doesn't have to be key relationships, but they have to have some common field. So, but it's possible you could have like a human resources database and a point of sale database or something, and you want to bring together information about the employee. They probably share an employee key somewhere, things like that. I'm going to do finish. And that gives us our data source. And again, this looks exactly like the diagram, right? And it shows the relationship between everything. Okay, so are we ready with that one? Go to the cubes. Maybe, yes. No, I'm going to do a new cube anyway. And I will do next. Notice every time you do new, it brings up a wizard. I'm not sure you have a choice. The only way to do these without the wizards is to go into the XML, which is just nightmarish.
What do you get?
We're going to use the existing tables. One of the things you can do at this point, and I'm not necessarily going to advise this, if we had never created the data, the dimension tables and all of that, you can generate them on the fly. It's a lot of work, a little bit. I prefer to do it in SQL. But you can actually generate your data source here.
Using the wizard or using code?
Using the wizard. Basically what you'd have to do is you'd have to go back to MetroAlt, choose the columns that you want for the different dimensions. I mean, basically you'd be constructing it graphically here instead of in SQL. I just think it's a lot more efficient and faster in SQL. So I'm going to do next, where we decide where the measures are. And the measures are all in the fact table. So fact schedule is what we want. One of the things I've done before that totally messed things up was to try to select all of these, trying to get the words in there. That doesn't work. So I'm going to do next.
Just pick one.
Just pick one. Just pick the fact schedule. The fact schedule is the one that has all of our measures in it. In fact, the next one tells us what our measures will be. Riders, fares per route, and a count of the data there, basically. So I am going to do next, and it tells me what all the dimensions are going to be, right? They're all of our dim tables. So it found all of our dimensions. So I'm going to do next. And basically at this point we're just going to do finish. This is just telling us what we got. We got a fact schedule table, and we've got the dim tables. So I'm going to do finish. And we have the same thing here, except it's a little color coded now. And it gave us all these dimensions. So what I'm going to do with each of these dimensions is I'm actually going to go and tell it which fields we want to see besides the key. Are you guys with me so far? I'll try to catch you guys. So I'm going to double click. Let's do dim date real quickly. This gives me the dimension designer, and where I was getting screwed up is I kept trying to put the hierarchies in here. But actually that's not what I need. If I want to see the year, I just drag it over here. If I want to see the month, I just drag it over here. I drag it under attributes, not under hierarchies. And that will allow me to see the year as a year, as opposed to just a key. And I'm going to do like dim route. Probably.
Double click dim date, and then where to start.
Right, so I double click the dim.
Okay.
And then I'm going to bring the bus route zone, which is a city name, over here, right? And it puts it as an attribute under the dim route. Curious what the blue line is.
So we bring
I think this works just fine without the hierarchies, but I'm curious. This worked before. I'm not going to mess with the hierarchy right now, even though it's got blue lines there. I'm going to do employee. Want like the position name. I'm not sure we need anything else for the employee right now. Schedule. Maybe the shift. And the bus, we might want the bus type description. Maybe the bus type key just to keep it together. Now I don't know if I need to do, let's see, if I look at attribute relations, looks like it's okay. I'm not sure about this right here, but we're going to let that be. So what I did again on date dim, I brought in the month and year. I brought in the bus route zone for that. For the employee, I just brought in the position name. I'm not sure it's really relevant for what we're doing anyway. The schedule, I brought in the shift. We don't actually, I didn't bring in the bus schedule shift. Probably in our dimension tables, we should have had the description of the shift. But whatever. And for the bus, I just brought in the shift key. I guess that's all I have in there. That's the schedule. That's dim schedule. This is dim bus. I have the bus type description and that. So I'm going to click on the cube. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say to process it. And it says the server content appears to be out of date. So you just have to say yes. What it does is it loads the data from the model into the cube. And then we need to actually run this process thing. With luck, it'll all be green. That looks good. So it succeeded. Right, so we've got the cube has been created. And then you just close these. If you go, there's a whole bunch of things up here. Different actions, things you can do. I mean, you can spend, this is a fairly sophisticated tool and we're just touching the surface of it. I'm going to go to the browser. The browser is basically the pivot table view. I'm going to go to the browser. I'm going to close this. Now, so if I want to select a dimension, I could select, let's do date. And then we can choose which one we want here, right? We can choose month or year. Let's do year, yeah. Did you process it?
Green.
And then we ran it, right?
Yep.
So why? So go hit browser down here, not there.
This one.
Yeah.
I just have to have all these little things that I can choose one. It's
Oh,
this
there
one.
it is.
Under the cube.
Can you show us what the browser button is?
So the browser is on the top. Let me kind of pull these over. Like right here, not in the top level tabs, but underneath here.
Do you only have 3 tabs?
Oh, there are. No, I have 4 now. But what if you try to build your cube and ask for a password?
Did you do the service account, local service account? Shouldn't ask for a password. Are you in admin? Shouldn't have asked for a password. I'll check in a minute. I'm going to make it equal to. And when I do this, notice I actually have years this time, as opposed to just keys. So let's do 2013. All right, so down here I need to pick out my measures. So let's do the count.
Can you just actually one second?
We'll do a couple things here. So I'm going to do the fares per route and the number of riders. These would be all of them for 2013. I'm going to add a couple more dimensions in a second.
Oh, everything's different.
You might have different numbers. That's fine. What?
I have no rows.
You have no rows? Did you drag some stuff in here?
Oh, it's because I chose all.
Which year did you choose?
2013 and 14. I picked 14 just to see if there was any some data. There's no rows.
There's no rows in 2013. Did your fact table get populated?
Yeah.
Let's do a quick select stuff. Fact schedule. All right, you're in master. Change it to MetroAltDW.
They, I don't touch it. You got.
I added year and the date.
Yeah.
Change my browser.
That's good stuff in there.
You got data there? So why is it not giving you anything?
Right. Let's see. Let's see the,
Yeah, it should be fine.
And the round.
That's so,
You got zoom. Round.
I'm not sure why. Did you, and you populated it, right? You ran it through the process thing?
yes, process and successful.
And then you did the run right underneath. Let's process it again.
Okay, so close this up.
Yeah, just go back to another tab. I'm not sure if it matters.
Right.
So just click on the key
Yeah, I know. I don't
and then do process.
Process and then
And then yes.
maybe this would be overwritten.
Employee.
Yes.
Employee.
You know, I can tell you if you want,
And then do
when you sit over there, I can tell you what he dragged in, if you want.
Can you do this?
So it's completed.
This.
Do you have another
fails, and
one?
What I would do is
Yes.
save
Which
everything,
one?
go back to your SSIS and run it again.
What about,
Okay.
When it overwrote the database, I wonder if it overwrote it.
He
I can
pulled
write.
in,
This is my SSIS right here.
bus type
You want it?
hold on.
Yeah, you might try running
Yeah,
it
bus type
again.
key,
and,
bus type description,
types.
And then see if it,
just those two.
and then you
bus
might
type
have to
key and bus type
reprocess again
description.
too.
Okay, one more schedule.
Let me find it. Bus driver shift key.
Bus driver shift.
Yeah,
After you select. Anything else?
No.
Right, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
all right, so I'll get back there.
Okay.
So in the browser,
Oh, you're not in the cube anymore.
oh yeah,
Your cube is one tab before the tab you're on. You know, the yellow part.
oh yeah, cube, there we go. So I went into the measures and I put all the measures there, the schedule count, fares per route, and riders.
Oh, okay, I tried that wrong.
So what says that there was 130,000 records for that year. There's what, 29 million or so in fares and 921,429 riders. Did it work?
I don't know what to do about with the cube itself, with the measures and everything. I don't know. Do you want me to do something different?
No, it looks all right. I wonder what it's not doing. New process it again after you repopulate it. It's still not giving you data. What's the data source? Cube,
Should I make a new cube?
maybe. Process, which you got.
After.
Only fact, nothing else. Christina, after our table, what are the group? Process.
And then run.
Click the project under the process.
Go to the,
Metro or multiple.
go to select the cube on the left, on the right hand side.
Select the cube.
On the right hand side where it says
Yeah,
cube.
all over the top, right?
Yeah,
All over the top, Metro or,
dimensional
the
project.
project, yes.
Under cube, right click on the MetroAltDW cube and hit
Oh, on the
process.
cube, yes.
Go to the MetroAltDW cube, right click process.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Process.
Then
Or,
run.
And process.
you could try to
I say
do
yes,
that right now.
Yep.
I would kill it and make it.
Yep, and then run.
All right, so I was going to add another dimension here. So let's say that we want route, but what I want in the route is not really the route, but the zone. And let's say that it's, should we say not in or equal? I guess we could do equal. And this time when I look at this again, notice, whoa, that isn't giving me what I want. Cancel. Oh, I have dim route key. I don't want dim route. I want route zone.
Bus zone. That's right.
Bus route zone. And it has the names of the cities.
Nice.
So let's do Tukwila. And what it does is it limits this to the number of riders and the amount of the fare and everything in Tukwila for that year. So you can keep adding dimensions to look at things. And at least this cube, unlike our other one, there actual are words, right, to help figure out what's going on. That's actually as far as I was going to take it. As I said, you guys can explore more. I'll help you get here if you haven't got here. Yeah.
I don't have a bus route zone in the hierarchy.
So, well, you should have, when you do the, double click the dim bus route. Dim route. And the bus route zone is here, so if you drag it over there, then it would be there. Now, I don't know if that will update the cube.
I guess I'll go with the cube and make it over.
Yeah, maybe. Here's where it
Well, so I got here late, I'm sorry.
That's
But, I think I got in the queue so that it's all right.
And you did the dims and all of that.
I believe so, you might want to go check that. It is in the.
So if you double click again, I'll just look at the big dim. So one of the things you want to do is like drag the gear over here. And, this gives you just the words, right?
Okay,
And then the route, only just the bus route. So yeah, just drag the descriptors that you want to see.
okay.
I think that's required. Just close after it's done.
And this one too?
Yeah. Let me go to the browser.
See here?
Yeah,
Do I need to close this one?
I would just because it's in the middle.
Do you want anything from schedule?
Not really, yeah.
You want,
Oh, yeah, not sure what you're about either. It didn't get deployed. I took the position in, but I'm not sure we are really using it.
I'm just gonna take everything that's got a key, just
Yeah,
play with it. And
it's in the browser, right? Oh, so let's go back. Did you guys work?
Yes.
Yeah. So you got past the password thing?
Yeah.
What did you do in the measures? Did you select them?
So I did. So for the measures, all I did was drag them into here, into the actual designer down here. So these are the filters, basically. These are the dimensions that we're looking at, and then this is the data, that's based on those dimensions and filters. So we could add more. So we have, if I wanted to break this down to even more, so like a month. Months are going to be, because we didn't turn them into names, they're basically just going to be 12 of them. So let's say June. And that, breaks it down to just how many were in Tukwila in June in 2013.
Why do you think that I have large numbers? Do you think it's adding anything?
Well, they are large.
Even not as large.
So a couple of things.
Oh, there.
Yeah, I mean, you still probably have larger numbers because I have not imported. Remember the imports we did of data earlier? I didn't do those imports. So you guys have more data than I
But
did.
I had to re-pull the measures again for that new. Okay. So you have to pull in those the
So
new measures you want
Yes.
to populate the newest.
Still not populated?
It actually has things if I pull these out.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but once this is selected, so this is going to be in date. And as soon as I try to do something
So like a year equal. It should have.
You start the project.
13 should have some
it goes
stuff.
away,
Did
right?
you just say something? I'm afraid to launch
I don't know.
a browser on this computer because it crashes it. So
It's weird that you have them there, but not.
with my hoo-ha here.
And the Tukwila, I wasn't able to pull any of the best route zone.
I don't see anything wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
The route zone isn't showing it.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
So then your
Hello, what's next?
route.
This route zone's over there, but it's not showing up in the, it's a refresh button that I should be doing for this,
Oh, so.
before creating the queue.
Well, I usually do these before so you have to create the queue before processing the queue. I think I
Yeah, I
understand
think it's
why.
gonna call off. So this is
So
like
you
one
can send that as a queue.
Yeah, then you get the measurements. And each one, maybe each one round day.
I don't
No, just
understand.
whatever you want. He does know.
Oh.
When you get the import, you had data when you didn't do any. So if I do route and do, so it doesn't show up there. Let's just do a single route. No route. These are just the route numbers. Every filter kills it. I'm not sure. I'd almost say kill the whole project altogether again. but I have no idea why it's not showing. I don't see anything wrong. And then you did have data in your fact table, so,
Delete it.
um,
Or review
I would just start file new.
it. Just read.
Yeah, just walk through the steps again.
So it's having trouble seeing the database. And Piano helped me change so that I was using the service account,
Right,
but it's still not seeing it. I restarted Visual Studio.
so let's look at your, let's look at two copies.
No, this is just the icon. I can't right click on for whatever reason.
Okay. Let's look at the, first let's look at the. So go to the security, the local service. Properties, let's look at the user active. Hit the MetroAltDW. See that the user is right, and that actually should be okay. Alright.
Are you done?
So let's look at the,
It's
so that's right there. So,
that was the one, or
so MetroAltDW, interesting, resource. With MetroAltDW, is this where you are? Looks like it's right up there.
yeah. Sees everything.
So if we do, we've done all the dimensions. So let's do process. We did this.
Oh, not yet.
Now
I
try.
have one.
So if you go to the lower browser, lower, go click on it. So make sure you click on the data key. And then this goes. And then you should do it.
Why I don't have a bus route room? Bus route. I
don't know.
I call.
I don't know.
Bus route.
The bus route system.
I call it out and.
So you did it after you've done the queue. You might have to reprocess the queue.
Oh, okay.
I think if you make changes to your dimensions and things, you have to
Process again.
redo the queue and process.
What did we do for the attributes for the route, the zone and the key?
Okay, so, yeah, so I just did the zone. That might be, so let me look, that might be one of the reasons why I wasn't there. I think you need the zone and the key both.
Bus route key.
Yeah, so let me go. Bus route. No, I don't have, I just have the zone.
We just did position name and the headway.
Yeah. But it probably wouldn't hurt to have the bus route key there.
I'll put it in
actually.
there, just to, try something different. And then for schedule, did you just do the bus driver shift key?
Exchange the class.
Oh, there it is.
There's not much in schedule. Which one were you looking at?
The schedule, and then bus.
Yeah, I think for the bus, I just did the bus type, which I didn't,
Bus type key.
yeah, and also the bus type description.
Okay. Right. So then I go to the queue, go to browser, and that says that this database doesn't exist.
I keep forgetting. I have
You have to process it.
Process, right click and process the queue.
Yes. Yeah. Did you do the, yeah. Right click. Go to the user.
Yeah.
Just to choose the zero to be able to. Yeah. So that actually should do now. What I would do is try to process the cube again. There we go. Just try to process it. If it fails, then we'll have to. I don't think it'll fail. Okay. And then just close and close. Yeah, I'll refresh it and then we will process it. So when you do the dimension, so we would like to see
So for each of the connections, just drag the things over there. Yes. But as I said, you might have to refresh it anyway. So if each of these just double click on the. Yeah, you have to do it one at a time. Yeah, you have to give me the link to it because I can't get that on there.
You're still not working?
No, it's not working. The link to edit is on that page, so if you just, that's not the link to that picture.
I do not.
You can do it.